What is up, guys? It is AJ from MMA Experts, and we are talking about the fight between Marvin Vettori and Jack Hermansson. What a main event it was. What actually happened? I mean, it was a great fight for 5 rounds, competitive, back and forth, great moments, the highest output ever in a middleweight fight, more significant strikes landed than any middleweight fight. Marvin Vettori put on a hell of a breakout performance. Jack Hermansson showed that he is tough as nails and as game as they come. First round, dominant by Marvin Vettori, drops Jack Hermansson, has him badly hurt, looks to possibly finish the fight, finishes the round on top, and then round number 2 starts in another good round for Marvin Vettori. He edges it out and gets the win. Round number 3, though, the tide does begin to turn slightly. Jack Hermansson comes on fairly strong, lands some good strikes of his own, even gets a takedown, but it wasn't anything substantial. He wasn't able to control. As far as grappling went, Marvin Vettori fought off Jack Hermansson's attacks beautifully. The leg locks attempts were just completely unsuccessful. The one leg lock attempt towards the end was unsuccessful. Is a technique he commonly goes for, was unable to be pulled off here. Going for omoplatas, going for really any submission. Marvin Vettori outsmarted Jack Hermansson on the ground and also outgrappled him. He was the stronger man. I believe he has stronger top pressure, and he was able to smother Jack Hermansson when they were on the mat. And it was a little bit one-sided as far as grappling. And this is Jack Hermansson, a guy that outgrappled Jacare Souza. So it just shows how much Marvin Vettori has evolved. Round number 4, competitive performance, but Vettori knew he had to win this round. Javier Cordero told him in the corner, you have to go out and win this fight. And he did. He turned it up. He looked beautiful in round number 4, came forward, landed the better strikes. Jack Hermansson, of course, having his moments and making it competitive. He was losing the rounds, but he was fighting. Round 5, competitive action, big shots landed by Jack Hermansson, but Marvin Vettori was able to land good shots of his own, beautiful straight punches. That's his money punch. He's a southpaw. His straight left hand is extremely dangerous. Holds Jack Hermansson towards the end of the fight, and then Hermansson went for the leg lock attempt. It was not in. Marvin Vettori gets out of it, and then we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges for Marvin Vettori, absolutely deserving of that victory. He looked excellent. This is the breakthrough performance. I'm ready to see what's next for him, and if there's an opponent that he called out was Paulo Costa, and that's somebody I could see. I mean, I think that Marvin Vettori is going to be in the top 5. I could potentially see him versus Paulo Costa happening. But I don't think that's the only option. He did call out Costa, but I could potentially see the UFC doing something else, maybe pushing towards the direction of Marvin Vettori, Robert Whittaker, if, there will be a fight between Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz rather than Robert Whittaker in the title mix. With Jack Hermansson losing this fight, there's not a next contender necessarily unless they want to give it to Vettori. He is on a 4-fight win streak. He has the streak to get it, but as far as high-level competition, the only victory over Jack Hermansson, I personally think he probably needs one more. I could see it with Costa. That's who he called for. I could see it with potentially Robert Whittaker if they want to really step him up to the top, the one under the champion. Let's be honest, Robert Whittaker, former champion. He's the number 2 middleweight in the world at this point, and it looks to be that he's going to be maintaining that position. He looks very good against Jared Cannonier. And then if you look down, I mean, Yoel Romero now leaving the weight class. I think that Jared Cannonier probably not going to be matched up against Vettori coming off a very impressive win. I think you're probably looking at the options. If they're going to give him somebody very much towards the top, you go Costa or Whittaker. The 1 and 2 guys under Israel Adesanya. Darren Till, maybe if they want to hold him back a bit. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think we're probably going to see Robert Whittaker or Costa, and it's all going to be on what is the next booking. Is Costa going to be ready to fight him? I think he'll want to fight him. I think that fight would be an awesome main event. There's going to be a ton of tension. There'd be a lot of smack talk. I think that fight really sells. I would like to see that. The Robert Whittaker fight, though, definitely would be a true number 1 contender fight. It really depends on what direction the UFC is going to go. I could possibly see Costa fighting Robert Whittaker. He did call for that matchup. We will see soon, but now let's talk about Jack Hermansson for a moment. Good performance, heart. He's very tough. He's game. He comes to fight, but he takes a disappointing loss. What is next for him? I'm not opposed to still seeing him fight Darren Till. I think that could be a fun fight, but it is going to be harder to make with him coming off the loss to Marvin Vettori, but you still got to respect. He beat Kelvin Gastelum, who's the number 8 guy in the world. He's looked very good. He beat Jacare Souza. With Yoel Romero leaving the weight class, that fight's now off the table. I could potentially see a Derek Brunson fight, but I don't know if that really would be booked by the UFC. I don't know if they'd love that matchup. It seems they like to use Brunson, at least as of late, as more of a gatekeeper. And I don't think Jack Hermansson would necessarily be in that fight. I could see the Brunson fight, but less likely. I personally would like to still see the Darren Till fight rebooked. I'm curious to see that matchup, but I won't be shocked if it doesn't happen. Maybe somehow Chris Weidman ends up in that matchup. I could really see the UFC possibly going Jack Hermansson, Chris Weidman next. I think that'd be a fun fight. It would be a very good wrestling heavy style for Chris Weidman, which could potentially pose some problems to Jack Hermansson, as we saw with Marvin Vettori on the ground. The very good wrestling was able to stifle his grappling and jiu-jitsu submission attack. I mean, he really did not lock anything up substantially. Granted, Marvin Vettori very good on the ground as well with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I don't know. Some interesting matchups to make. Great card overall in the co-main event. Ovince St. Preux got disappointingly stopped against Jamal Hill. I was very impressed by Jamal Hill. Ton of potential, standing TKO. Overall, very good card. Lots of fun fights. The main event was excellent. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, follow my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll see you all in the next video.